It was a gray, wind-swept morning, the kind that carries a strange weight in the air, like the universe knows something is about to happen. Outside St. Jude's General Hospital, the automatic doors hissed open and closed as patients and visitors trickled in. But then, out of nowhere, a little girl, no more than 6 or 7, appeared alone at the curb. Her dress was flowery and soft, but her legs wobbled like she hadn't eaten in days. A moment later, she crumpled to the ground like a marionette with its strings cut, just feet from the emergency entrance. No one noticed. Not the receptionist inside. Not the nurse passing by. No one, except for one man. A man who wasn't even supposed to be there that day. Before we take you deep into this incredible true story of kindness, heartbreak, and life-changing truth, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to Kindness Corner, because if you believe in second chances, small miracles, and the power of humanity, this story is one you'll carry in your heart forever. His name was Michael Brenner, a 39-year-old single father doing his best to hold life together after losing his wife 3 years ago in a sudden car accident. Life hadn't been kind to him. Raising his 8-year-old son Ethan alone had been a journey filled with missed sleep, tight grocery budgets, and an aching loneliness that no one really talks about. But Michael had always believed in doing what's right, even when no one's watching. That morning, he had come to the hospital for a routine checkup, a rare act of self-care he almost cancelled. Yet something in him said to go. And when he saw the small girl collapse outside the hospital doors, something else in him, a deeper, urgent instinct, kicked in. Without thinking, Michael dropped his bag, sprinted to the child, and scooped her up. She was limp, her skin clammy, her breath shallow. Panic set in, but so did purpose. He burst through the sliding glass doors yelling for help. Nurses rushed over, and in seconds, she was taken from his arms and whisked away to a gurney. Michael stood there stunned, holding the empty air where moments ago, a fragile little girl had been. Hours passed. Michael couldn't leave. He sat there in the waiting room, his hands trembling slightly, heart pounding with a fear that had no name. She wasn't his child. He didn't know her name. But something in her face, in that moment, had carved itself into him. Maybe it was the way she clutched a tiny paper doll in her hand even as she collapsed. Maybe it was how young and lost she looked. Maybe it was just that no child should face the world alone. A nurse finally approached and thanked him for his quick action. She said the girl would be okay, thanks to him. Dehydration, malnutrition, and exhaustion, she said. But that wasn't what haunted Michael. It was what came next. She kept asking for her dad, the nurse said quietly. But no one's come. Michael's stomach dropped. They didn't know who she was. No ID, no adult, nothing. Just a paper doll in her hand, and a name she mumbled before she passed out, Lily. Michael couldn't shake it. He went home that night, but he couldn't sleep. He kept picturing Lily's pale face, those trembling legs, and the way her tiny arms clung to him. He returned to the hospital the next day with a small teddy bear and a sandwich, hoping she'd be awake. She was. The moment she saw him, her face lit up, not with recognition, but with the innocent relief of a child who'd found something that felt safe. He visited every day after that. He brought puzzles, coloring books, a second-hand dollhouse. She rarely spoke, but when she did, her words came slow and soft, like each one had to be coaxed out of a locked room in her mind. It took days before Michael learned the truth. Lily had been abandoned. Her mother had passed away 2 years prior from cancer. Her father, well, no one knew where he was. DCS records showed she had been shuffled through 3 different foster homes. Neglect. Hunger. Emotional trauma. And at some point, she ran. She walked for hours, maybe days, trying to find the last place she remembered her mom taking her, St. Jude's. Michael was shattered. This child had suffered more than most adults could handle. And yet she smiled when he walked into the room. She reached for his hand. She fell asleep clutching the teddy bear he gave her like it was a lifeline. He didn't plan to get involved. He told himself he was just being kind. But the truth was harder to ignore with each visit. Ethan, his son, asked about the girl from the hospital. Eventually, Michael brought him to meet her. The two kids bonded instantly, like long-lost siblings reuniting. That night, Michael lay awake staring at the ceiling. He thought about Lily sleeping alone in a sterile hospital room. He thought about Ethan asking if Lily could come over for dinner. And then he thought about his late wife, the promises they made, the kind of family they wanted to raise. That's when it hit him. Sometimes, life gives you a second chance in the form of someone else's broken pieces. He started the process. It wasn't easy. Adoption is a mountain of paperwork, red tape, and emotional scrutiny. But Michael never wavered. Through every meeting with social workers, every court appearance, every background check and evaluation, he stayed focused on Lily's smile. On Ethan's joy. On the feeling that, somehow, this was all meant to happen. Months passed. Winter melted into spring. And one bright April morning, in a quiet courtroom, a judge looked at Michael, then at Lily, and said the words that made it real: "You are now her legal guardian." Tears streamed down Lily's cheeks as she hugged Michael tight. He bent down, held her face in his hands, and whispered, "You're home now. You're safe." Today, Lily is thriving. She laughs louder, hugs tighter, and sleeps peacefully in her pink room filled with books and sunshine. Ethan calls her sis and holds her hand when they cross the street. And Michael? He smiles again. The weight he carried for so long feels lighter, not because life is perfect, but because love gave him the strength to carry more than just his own burdens. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, subscribe to Kindness Corner, and share it with someone who believes in the power of compassion. Stories like these remind us that we're all connected, that sometimes, a stranger can become family, and a single act of kindness can change a life forever. Speech balloon: if you believe every child deserves love and a second chance, please leave a comment below. Your words might be the encouragement someone else needs to hear.